Recently, a series of videos have exposed some of Planned Parenthood's grotesque human rights abuses against unborn children, yet Democrats, for the most part, have remained silent or are demonizing the activists who lifted the veil on the atrocities. Democrats are on the wrong side of history on this issue when it comes to these crimes. Hillary Clinton today spoke out again in Planned Parenthood's defense.
I want to add my voice to all those who have expressed outrage and disappointment about the decision last week by the Executive Council to cut off funding for Planned Parenthood in New Hampshire. It's appalling that 3 men sitting in the chambers of the Executive Council would deny women across this state the health care they need and deserve. We need more leaders like Governor Hassan and Senator
Okay, that's pathetic. I'm sorry. Invoking this 3 men thing, let's just remember who decided Roe v. Wade? A bunch of men, right? But now men can't have opinions on things. And I'd love, anybody is out there who hasn't seen these videos, particularly Democrats, need to watch these videos. There was an article today by a columnist, Ruben, I don't know how to say it, and he basically says, I'm not sure if I'm pro-choice anymore after watching the videos. He only watched the videos because his wife bullied him into it, basically. I think a lot of people kind of like to keep their heads in the sand about this. And, Dana, we were talking during the break. What do you think about what Hillary's saying? She's basically saying, don't defund
I agreed with the Hillary of 2 weeks ago, who said that all of the organizations or companies that actually do this type of procedure need to be investigated. She was trying to give Planned Parenthood some cover, but she actually said she was disturbed by it and she wanted it investigated. Then, when the political pressure got hard, she decided to change her mind, and now she is doing something that is political, but it actually will work in her favor. All the polls today in Ohio, New Hampshire, and I'm sorry I can't remember the third state, showed about a 60% approval for keeping Planned Parenthood funded by the federal government. I don't know if I would go forward with the defunding vote, but I wouldn't fall on my sword on it because I think it's actually not enough. I actually think it doesn't, even if you were to defund it, it doesn't mean that this practice isn't going to continue, and it's the practice that should be
well, that's why you need an investigation to make sure that a stop is put to this kind of atrocity. But, I applaud your courage and using your voice and your position to be able to come forward. I think you're 100% correct that if people see this and don't keep their head in the sand, they will be appalled by it, and I believe those numbers would, in fact, change. Right. I think there's a very small amount of people that have actually seen this, and I know even just my own personal positions, and then when I went and saw that trial of Dr. Gosnell and how horrifying that was. If people had sat through that trial and saw those images and saw the video and everything presented there, it would change your mind.
Eric, they talk about in one of these videos delivering intact fetuses.
Video number 5.
How do you do that? You can't. No one has answered that question. How does this baby come out intact? Because the way they normally do an abortion is they inject it. They inject the fetus or the baby so the heart will stop. Or as one of the videos tells us, they crush them. So they're not doing either. How are these? Where are these babies being killed? Are they outside the body or inside the body?
Right now, we're conflating 2 issues.
Right. Outside.
You're talking about the process, and Dana points out that needs to stop. That's one issue. The other issue is funding Planned Parenthood not because of the process they're using, because they're profiting on it. The reason why they wanted the intact baby is because they can sell it for more than a part. A baby split up into parts doesn't get as much as a full baby. That practice alone shows that they're not doing the process and selling or donating to science at cost.
And creating the organs so they
they're
can
not
both
doing that.
ends.
What they're trying to do is maximize profit for a fetus, for a baby.
So, Brian, what Planned Parenthood would say in response to this and what they have said is they said, no, we're just getting reimbursed, right? But if it's just reimbursement, wouldn't that just be a set fee schedule? Why do you have to negotiate that? It costs a certain amount to do a certain procedure. It should have a range. Why are they in these videos trying to raise the price?
I've never seen a controversial piece of video, let alone life and death in babies, so poorly argued by the other side, but yet nobody in the middle is picking up and saying how absurd the explanation is. I feel like I'm in a parallel universe. When they talk about intact babies, this video number 5, I also want to say this. I don't care where you stand on this issue, you have to give credit for the Center for Medical Progress to put these videos together and are making the American people, if they are sober enough to pay attention and can quiet down their lives long enough to take a look, to make the American people pay attention and maybe take a fresh look at where they stand on Roe v. Wade and what is pro-life. Because if you walk around to anybody out here, how many people are anti-baby? Not one. But what if you looked at these videos? It's the same thing.
Well, also, this isn't a pro-choice, pro-life issue anyway. You can be pro-choice and be opposed to what's happening in these videos.
Exactly.
You could say, but
why not say it?
Doing, but everyone just watch the videos, please. One more thing.